everybody, and welcome to the Busted Business Bureau podcast. I am your host, Christian Borky. I am sitting at the Lincoln Lodge Theater, which produces this podcast. Today, I have a rising star, the host of the Crushes podcast. She is a cast member at the Lincoln Lodge. She teaches the FemCom classes here. It is Deanna Ortiz.
Hi. Thank you. Rising star.
Quite literally, I don't know another appropriate way to describe you.
Thank you so much.
Other than rising star.
I'm a star and I'm rising.
I am very excited to have you on this podcast. I've been planning this episode out for a while. I want to first take your temperature on how do you feel about tech nerds, tech bros who do tech?
I don't know. I think like tech guys love to tell you they're in tech and they love to be like, oh, you actually don't know about cryptocurrency? Well, that's why I have $1 million and you only have $4. And I think it's anytime I try to learn about, it feels like a secret club.
Ooh,
Yeah.
That's a great way of describing it.
That like I can't get into.
Today's episode is centered around the hubris of tech bros.
Amazing.
I would say.
Do you remember there was that like thing in San Francisco where it was like Uber or something like that. They were like, oh, we're going to make a giant Uber and it's going to be an Uber bus or a big Uber basically. And it'll have designated stops. And basically they created public transit. And I was like, that's kind of the perfect way to encapsulate tech bros. So like they think that they're doing something cool, but actually it's the CTA. That's so weird you have that.
That is exactly what the story is.
Yeah.
Of useless technology that costs an exorbitant amount of money to make.
Yeah.
That does not help society ultimately. But they do love to tell themselves it does.
Yeah.
So I want to start from reading you an article from Wired in 2007, published aptly on April 1st, because I do not fucking believe it. It's called ShotSpotter. Can a tech startup put a dent in violent crime? Ooh. Let me do a little bit of a summary for you before I get in. ShotSpotter formed as a California corporation in 2001. They're interviewing the CEO at the time of ShotSpotter. Robert Schoen was working as an engineer for SRI International, a high-tech think tank on the outskirts of Silicon Valley. His office was just down the road of East Palo Alto, an area plagued by gang killings and drive-bys. When the neighborhood town was declared the murder capital of the nation in '92, Schoen was compelled to take action. Quote, I hadn't worked with sound waves before, but the idea of using them to triangulate the location of a gunshot seems so elegant. In principle, the problem should have been easy to solve. Referencing gun violence.
I feel like the problem is not maybe easy, but there is a way to solve it. But do I think that sonar is used? Maybe not.
The crux of today's podcast is once again about ShotSpotter, which is a series of small boxes that have microphones implanted into them where if there is a loud noise, i.e. a gunshot that takes place somewhere around them, they will again triangulate the location to then alert law enforcement of where the shot took place. The goal being, again, because gun violence is an easy problem to solve.
It's elegant, as he said.
The goal being that, like, citizens typically underreport gunshots because they, think someone else will do it, or it could just be fireworks in their mind or whatever. So people are less likely to call the police when they hear a gunshot. And also, people don't trust cops, which is a thing that they will say again and again. And then we'll be like, the solution is more cops.
The solution is let's have a little box that calls the cops anytime a loud is a little too noisy. A noise is a little too loud.
That is literally the solution.
Oh, God.
So, the hubris, the gall, the tacos on Robert Schoen. This idea was first tested in 1996 in Redwood City, California. Per the Wired article, apparently a lot of residents were obsessed with, like, shooting guns into the sky on 4th of July and on New Year's. Okay. Apparently Redwood City people love that. Yeah. So they implemented ShotSpotter and promised everybody that authorities would be there if there was any illegal discharge of firearms. Like, they made a very big deal out of it. Okay. Over the next few years, per the Wired article, celebratory gunfire dropped 75%. Lame. Party poopers.
It's just like so funny to be like any type of firework. Like, well, fireworks aren't real or aren't allowed, so we need to shoot our guns to celebrate.
We have to blast something in the air.
I simply have to.
I will make it happen one way or another.
If someone had fireworks, though, would it call the cops too? And they're just like, sorry, it's just the 4th of July.
Yes.
I'm getting ahead of myself.
Quite literally, yes.
In a word, yes.
Quote, from a technical standpoint, though, the Redwood City installation wasn't successful. In tests, it located gunshots only 45% of the time. Moreover, percussive sounds, like fireworks, pile drivers, slamming dumpster lids, confused the software, triggering alerts when no shots have been fired. This put ShotSpotter in an awkward position. The product had proven remarkably effective, but that was due to good PR, not good technology. And that is where, I keep saying this is the crux of the story, but this is the crux of the story, is that the technology, we'll keep talking about it, fucking blows. Bad. But any sort of positive change, if you could even call it that, is because of the marketing of this company. And they lie.
So the only reason that they're doing good things is because they say they are and they're liars?
Yeah, the implication being because people thought there would be an increased police presence when they shot their guns into the sky, they were less likely to do it.
And that also, like, if you can get in trouble for filing, like for calling the cops when it's not an emergency, but what happens if the call is coming from a little box on the street?
Nothing happens. They just waste money on it.
You can't, so the cops are just so busy.
They scold the box.
There was a dumpster lid and you're trying to figure out what happened. Wow.
So that is the effectiveness of ShotSpotter, is its presence, not necessarily the accuracy of its technology. Chicago enters this story in 2006. There's a lot to unpack about their business model. The ShotSpotter gunshot prevention technology covers about 117 square miles of Chicago's landmass, mostly concentrated, guess where, on the south and west sides. And if you're wondering, why did I write this? Never mind. I was going to start a sentence about the east side of Chicago and make a joke that that's the lake. Anyways, the city of Chicago made up 22% of ShotSpotter's entire revenue in 2018, then 20% in 2019, and 18% in 2020. The decline is not from Chicago spending less money on it, but from other cities buying into ShotSpotter. But again, the city of Chicago is the largest customer for ShotSpotter. And so if you have ever paid taxes in the city of Chicago, you have paid for this service.
I haven't. No.
Did you get that, boys?
I'd like to go on, let's take her down. I'd like to go on record and say I've never paid taxes.
I will let you live your truth on this podcast. I like to say
because I hate gun violence, and that's why I do it. And that's why I do it.
And that is so brave.
I'm so brave.
So this contract is extended through August of 2023. And so if you are a resident of Chicago, let's learn about what technology we're funding. How does the box work? There are a group of sensors inside the box that's placed atop a 30-foot pole. This pole could be anywhere. It could be like a traffic light, or if you own a 30-foot tall building and the police ask you.
Fuck. The cops did come and ask me about my giant building. I did not think to ask what they were putting on it. I'm screwed.
That one's entirely on you.
That's so crazy.
Read the contract. The sensors are allegedly trained to detect any loud noise that could be interpreted as a gunshot. And because there are several sensors in any given area, they then triangulate the location of the noise, because there's more than one on top of a 30-foot pole. After a noise is confirmed to be a gunshot, the data is stored privately in ShotSpotter's database, where they're in part allowed to store it in their own database because they lease the technology out to cities. The cities do not own them. This will continue to be important because the data can be accessed and used in the future only by ShotSpotter. This is not a matter of public record. You can't FOIA these reports or audio recordings. It only belongs to ShotSpotter.
That is so good.
And they can edit it.
That's amazing.
They can edit the audio.
That is so smart on their part. Like,
genius.
If Chicago ever like stops paying for this and they're like, can we have our like stuff? And they're like, no.
They're like, actually, no.
Actually, it stays on our little box in the sky. Oh my God.
The sky.
This is insane. Also, like, I know we'll probably get into it, but like, okay, let's say there's, someone shooting a gun and the thing gets called. Let's say somebody, God forbid, somebody gets hurt.
Yeah.
So then the cops come and like, okay, great, now you're here, and like, what if no one else is there? Like, what if a gun goes off and then people run and the cops are like, well, the little thing says that it's right here. Well, nothing's happening over here. All right, time to go back to bed. I don't like.
Literally, thousands of hours are spent doing exactly that.
It's like
of just like chasing a lead. Where again, even if someone does fire a gun, let's say like somebody has fired a gun, most people don't stand in the same fucking area for long enough for the police to show up. They just leave.
Yeah.
And so the goal, and this is said a lot, I'm pretty sure I'll say it again, but whatever. I don't care. I'll say it again.
Say it all you want.
The CEO believes that even when the cops come for a wasted call, i.e. a gun has been fired and then people fuck off, the cops will then have to get out of the car to like investigate to see if there was a gun that was shot. And I don't know where this logical leap comes from, thereby improving relationships with the community they serve, because they will then talk to more people because they're out of the car looking for like a gun casing.
Everybody loves to talk to the cops.
Everybody famously loves talking to the cops.
Especially when they're asking questions and don't have answers. Like,
when they're asking questions about gun violence to you and you just happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, that to me is a very calming experience.
I actually love it.
So this is one of the same tech bros who runs this company. Ralph Clark is the CEO, who believes that this is how cops behave, which this is how nobody behaves. So to answer your question, that is what happens. Is they spend so much time, looking into it for no fucking reason.
Oh God.
We typically design and deploy arrays of 20 to 25 sensors per square mile, taking into consideration the unique acoustic environment, blah, blah, blah. So Lakeview is about 2.35 square miles. If you did theoretically put it in that neighborhood, you'd have a guy going up a pole 50 times to put in all the sensors, which is a lot of manpower.
Yeah.
But notably, there is not a single ShotSpotter in Lakeview. It is only on the south and west sides. Like there's not a single box on the north side.
I mean, there was like a bunch of muggings and a bunch of carjackings that literally happened like in my neighborhood the past couple months ago. Would have loved. I would have loved for a little box to tell the cops something was happening.
But instead, they only put the boxes in places that are already over-policed to start with.
Yeah.
According to an FAQ they released online, the cost for ShotSpotter, do you want to take a guess at how much it costs per square mile?
Oh gosh.
For a little box that just has a microphone in it.
The box that cost, okay, I'm going to say maybe $50,000.
It is per year between $65,000 and $90,000 a year.
Oh, wow.
Per square mile.
Oh my God.
And also there's a $10K installation fee.
Of course.
Of course. To get that guy up the pole, shimmying up there.
I mean, get that money.
Working for that money.
He's working. What happens if it snows? Oh, shit. I'm sorry.
Well, that's okay.
I knocked it. What happens if it snows or rains or thunder? Like
that does in fact affect the accuracy of the ShotSpotters.
I love it. I'm just thinking like my Wi-Fi went out when it snows really bad. Like it must be affecting the other things that are in the sky.
Do you know what they use? They use AT&T and Verizon 3G and 4G LTE.
Okay, so my phone is better equipped to handle to be a ShotSpotter instead of an actual ShotSpotter. 5G brag. Wow. But they're tech bros. They should have the ability to get better Wi-Fi.
The fact that they're tech bros ultimately is nothing in comparison to the fact that they like to save money. Because this company was in the red for like most of its starting years.
Yeah.
It needed to restructure its management and then get the backing of like a bunch of random venture capitalist bros to even stay afloat. Because it was dire for a while.
Who was the mayor that was it when ShotSpotter became a thing in Chicago? Was it Daley?
It had to have been Daley, yeah.
Yeah, right? Okay.
Lightfoot has kept it going. She loves
I'm sure
her
she
some
loves
ShotSpotter.
it. She loves it. She's crazy about the stuff.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Lori Lightfoot.
I'm like, it might have been was Blagojevich Illinois or Chicago?
Oh God, please don't ask me a question.
I know he's missing some of his finger, but I don't know what he ruled over. What part of the land he was in charge of.
You sound like you're talking about a medieval king.
I am.
He's missing a part of his king. He rules over this sect of land.
Governor.
He was the governor. Oh, thank you. Okay. The whole state then. Copy that.
God, thank God somebody knew the answer, because if I was listening to this podcast, I'd be so mad. Anyways, so the business model is a subscription service. So you have to pay every year for a ShotSpotter to be in your thing.
Okay, but you get 3 weeks free when you sign up?
In some cases, you do get a discount if you're like in a smaller town. They'll give you a discounted lease on your thing. But your subscription includes the following. You get an incident review center staffed 24/7, 365 by trained acoustic analysts who review and classify gunshots. I'm getting ahead of myself here. I'm skipping ahead and I'll go back to the subscription service. So for a while, when the boxes would record a sound, it was just automatically transferred to the police with no one auditing if it was like actually a gunshot.
Yeah.
Which turned out to be a problem because every single firework, every single dumpster, every single whatever got sent over to the cops. Yeah. So in 2011, they restructured to have people sitting at a computer constantly like listening to the sound, which also they now canonically work from home.
Yeah.
Like according to a form they've been
It kind of sounds like, when you hear a gunshot, you call someone that then calls the cops. So that's what it kind of sounds like, only it's the box that's making the call to the 911 dispatchers at home who then call the cops. They did basically the thing with Uber. They were like, oh, we made a thing, and it's like, that's the bus, and they're like, look, we did a thing, and we're like, that's 911.
Yeah, that's literally how 911 works.
Oh my god. Okay.
It is, I guess, automating the first step in the process of calling 911. That is their claim to fame, is that that's what they've automated, and they've done it badly. Anyways, in this subscription service, you also get ShotSpotter integration service, data analytics. You get ShotSpotter forensic products, which includes expert testimony for court cases, which I did not realize that was a service you could sell to people.
Yeah.
But if you're the police and there's like ShotSpotter used in a fucking court case, ShotSpotter, if you're subscribed, which clearly you are because you've gotten this far, they will send somebody who works for ShotSpotter who is an expert in the subject who will be like, yeah, according to the audio, this person was exactly 5 feet away, and like, per my math, definitely shot the gun. You know, like, they will send
per
that.
my math, I'm very smart.
That's part of the subscription service you can get, which you cannot get on like any other subscription services that I know of, not Disney Plus, not.
But also, if you want, even if you get the subscription service, you still have to pay for your records that they keep in a little vault.
Correct.
They keep in the Disney vault next to Bambi. This place is wild. This place is out of control.
They keep next to Bambi. And that is what you get for your that's the bang you get for your buck.
Yeah.
You know? So again, I'm going to return to the point that in the early years, ShotSpotter was plagued by false positive reports constantly. And after they implement the people who are like listening to the gunshots in 2011, allegedly, it became more accurate. But I also want to note that after 2011, ShotSpotter now owns and installs and maintains all the equipment, which before, I guess they were just letting cops do themselves.
Amazing. Amazing.
And it uses its own trained staff to screen every gunshot call at its California control room to ensure that the computer gets it right. They have access to the audio files and can change it. I know I said it before, but I'm going to say it again. It becomes so important that, like, part of it is that if it's a helicopter going by and they can clearly hear it's a helicopter, even though ShotSpotter reported it, they do have to change it to helicopter, not gun. But they can also change it back and then change it back again if they are requested, which we will find out they are in fact requested to change them. I know, a little tantalizing.
Whoa.
So it gets so fucking crazy. And once again, I want to return to the fact that we pay for this.
Yes.
All right. Anyways, as of 2020, the trained staff that he's referring to, I was also quoting something earlier, but I don't give a shit. The staff that listen to the gunshots do work from home, which when I work from home, I'm like doing laundry, I'm cooking, I don't give a fuck what's going on that computer. Totally. I'm sure they give more of a fuck than I do, but it's a big, bold strategy to just assume.
Yeah. And also to like have it be in Chicago and then have people be like, oh, okay. I mean, obviously I know it's probably working very quickly, but like there's a gunshot and then we send that gunshot to California and then someone in California calls the cops in Chicago. It just seems like there's so many middlemen that don't need to be in this situation. The entire company.
A lot of room for error, one would be even say.
Exactly, yeah.
Per their website, the process does take, quote, under 30 seconds. But honestly, to me, when it's going through several middlemen, that makes it worse. That, like, there was no thought, or, like, it was an automatic process, or it was whatever. I feel like I'd be critical of it anyway, though. So, you know what? Yeah. Maybe they can't win.
Maybe no answer is a good answer for this one. Yeah.
Sorry, ShotSpotter, but I will never be on your side. Of note is that the employees have the ability to recategorize what the sound counts as. I already said that. I don't know why I wrote it 3 times into the script. I love that for me. The Center for Investigative Reporting looked into San Francisco's use of ShotSpotter between 2013-ish and 2016, and it revealed that in the 3,000 alerts over 2.5 years, so ShotSpotter like got notified 3,000 times, 20% send police to the complete wrong location. So like the GPS doesn't even work. And 66%, no evidence of any shooting was found when they got there.
I do really love that, of the cops being like, we're the cops. We're got to go figure out a crime. And then they show up and it's just like nothing's happening.
Literally nothing.
We got lost on the way.
They see like a large dumpster nearby and they're like, I think I know what this is.
Classic dumpster.
They're like, put your hands up, dumpster. I'm sorry, I don't know why I said that.
And like, it's just crazy because like the cops are taking notes from a little box. They're taking like, there's been a crime and I know it's a crime because a little robot told me. Let's roll out, boys. What?
This investigation also concluded that the system contributed to only 2 arrests in the 2.5 years. So like once ShotSpotter was called, police came and arrested 2 people. In one case, a man who shot up a vehicle remained on the scene and he was arrested. In the other, police found a man unrelated to any shooting who was wanted on an outstanding warrant.
Oh my God. I mean, the first one is kind of like ShotSpotter was like, yes, we freaking did it, guys.
And like the best case scenario for ShotSpotter, if someone's shooting up an entire vehikel and then just standing there like
waiting.
A fucking idiot.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, see, we did it. We got one. And then the other guy, poor guy.
I know. That has happened several times for ShotSpotter. Like, you know, something goes off and triggers the cops to come, and then somebody happens to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, and the cops come in thinking there's a gun in the situation. So they come in like up
hot,
here. Yeah, they come in very hot.
Yeah.
And so it is more likely that it will escalate any situation that is there, even if there was no situation to start with.
It's almost like the cops are the problem.
Methinks you're onto something there.
That is, they're like, well, we got to take somebody. I brought my big truck here. Got to put somebody in the back of it. Oh my God, this is madness.
Yeah, it is. I'm going to keep telling you more about how inaccurate it is.
Okay.
There was a study by the MacArthur Justice Center at Northwestern Pritzker School of Law. Yes, it's the whole title. It reviewed ShotSpotter deployments in Chicago for about 21 months, from July 1st of 2019 to April 14th, 2021, using data obtained from the city of Chicago. Their analysis found that 89% of the time they were called, no evidence of any gun being present at the scene. And 86% led to no report of any crime at all. So that means that, if I'm doing math here, 3%, the cops showed up, no evidence of a gun, but they found somebody and arrested them anyway.
Really? It's like 3% sounds low, but that's, when you're talking about it, that's really high.
It's a significant portion. In less than 2 years, there were more than 40,000 dead-end ShotSpotter deployments. So 40,000 times, cops like put on their clown shoes, got in the car, drove to the damn place, and found nothing.
Yeah.
That is it's a farcical amount.
Yeah.
In my humble onion. Like
to use these resources that like we already, you know, like it's just the cops are no good. And like we're sending them out. God forbid there's actually someone that needs a police officer that is somewhere, you know, on the other side of the city. Maybe like, no. Like, what are we doing? It's such a waste of this group. Yeah.
Even if you were pro cop, like this is still a waste of cops' time.
Yes.
And if you were pro cop, you should be like, shouldn't the cops be doing something better with their time or going somewhere that they are actually needed and not to a firework? They're not drawn to the firework like a moth to the light.
Check out a dumpster. This dumpster's pretty loud.
This dumpster's a little sketchy.
You know what this thing sounds like? A nosy neighbor that's just like, this is a little loud and I don't know what it was. Like a tiny old lady that's like calling the cops every other day. That's what this box sounds like.
Whoa. That is such an accurate read of this box. Right. Here's more about how inaccurate it is. A 2013 investigation in Newark, New Jersey revealed that from 2010 to 2013, the system's sensors alerted police 3,632 times, but only led to 17 arrests. According to the investigation, 75% of the alerts were false alarms. And I'm sorry to keep belaboring this point, but I really just want to make it so clear how inaccurate it is. We'll move on to different questions about the company later, but Forbes performed a study in late 2016 collecting data and other records from more than 2 dozen cities around the country. In Wilmington, North Carolina, the false positive rate was 31%. San Francisco, 32%. But on the top end of the spectrum, Milwaukee, Wisconsin had a 70% false positive rate.
Oh, wow.
So even on the low end of the 30s, that's still a ridiculous amount of times to be sending cops to nowhere.
Yeah.
But 70%, that's fucking heinous.
That's
I also
almost all the times.
I need to pause for 1 second because I wrote this down in pen because I forgot to put it in the script. Many privacy advocates have brought up that like there's a live microphone just like everywhere in the city.
Yeah.
Maybe they're recording conversations. And in some cases, there's been like a gunshot and there's been someone talking like a second before and a second after. And they've admitted that evidence in court, which is huge no-no.
Whoa.
But they successfully did it. Someone, I don't remember what it was, but it was someone being like, I'm going to shoot you and my name is Michael. You know?
I love to shoot my gun. It's me.
So So then they admitted that evidence in court successfully and then used it to try somebody, which privacy advocates are like, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Because how long is the window of it that being acceptable? You know, of you just recording private citizens for no reason.
Yeah.
So people brought this up to the NYPD. The NYPD police commissioner, William Bratton, said, get a life.
Honestly, what did we expect? What did we expect? I almost was going to make a joke that was going to be like, we don't care. But that response is so much better. Right. Get a life. We're trying to have a life, but you guys won't stop listening. I wish I had a life. Yeah. Oh my God.
Isn't that just brutal?
That is crazy. I'm trying to I mean, this is why I whisper everywhere I go. And, I mean, it's like, it's just like the end goal is not like this is going to make guns less, it's going to prevent guns or shootings or stuff in America, because it's just going to make people more sneaky, stealthy about the way that they're using them.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, are you listening, ShotSpotter?
I hate
your product. Yeah.
Between 2016 and 2020 in San Diego, 72 of the 584 ShotSpotter activations were considered unfounded by its own police department. The unfounded rate thus stands at 12.3% between the 4 neighborhoods it was in, a whopping 25 times higher than the 0.5% false positive rate put forth by the company. So the company says only 0.5% of the time is there a false positive, which is,
God,
so not correct.
Yeah.
So I will stop belaboring the point of how inaccurate it is. There are plenty of studies across I just wanted to pull a couple from different cities in the country or whatever, just to say it doesn't work anywhere it is.
Yeah. And it kind of sounds like across the board, the cops don't give a shit.
No, they're like, more money for us.
They're like, we don't care about these little boxes. We also don't care what you think about these boxes. And we're the police. In conclusion, we're the police. Wow.
I feel like I just read a police report that came out.
And in conclusion, get a life. I love that, man. That is so insane.
That is diva behavior.
Exactly. It's like he's the head of police. Is that what
the
it was?
police commissioner of the NYPD.
And he's just like such an important job, and he maybe could stand to be a little bit more eloquent and get a life. Okay.
I'm pretty sure the NYPD is the 22nd largest standing military in the world. That's what their leader has to say.
This just in, yo, get a life, haters. I love that.
So, in addition to the fact that cities over and over again, from their own independent studies, have found that it is not good, the technology in ShotSpotter boxes has never been scrutinized for the Fry standard or the Dobert standard. I'm very excited to explain this to you.
What if I was like, oh, I know. That would be crazy. The Dobert standard? Honey, say no more. Okay,
so when fingerprint methods of finding crime were first being developed, a lot of people were like, is this scientifically accurate, or are the police just making this up to imprison random people? That's not where the name comes from. This is just the example I'm using. So in court, very reasonably, if the cops are like, you did this crime and we know it because your fingerprint is there, your defense would be, well, is this system of finding fingerprints scientifically accurate, or are you just fucking around? Through several different court cases and precedent, that is now called the Fry standard of subjugating something to independent scientific analysis in a court of law. And in order to do that, you need to have proprietary data about the company of the scientific thing now accessible to the public. So every time ShotSpotter has been in a court of law and they've asked for a Fry standard, they've just retracted the evidence of ShotSpotter. And they've never been under a Fry standard call.
Wow.
So not a single time.
Yeah.
So Vice News reported that in the case of Michael Williams in Chicago, Michael Williams is thankfully still alive. He was driving a kid home. This is going to be a very poor way of explaining the case, but I will do it anyway. He was driving a kid home, and somebody drove by and shot the kid in his car.
Oh.
And the ShotSpotter had triangulated the location wrong. And Michael Williams was like, I did not shoot this kid. Somebody drove by and shot this kid in my car.
Yeah.
And the police were like, no, you did it. And then put him in jail and then tried him on court. And they had done the Fry, it's not called the Fry defense, but they were like, can we actually analyze ShotSpotter for this?
Yes.
And then they took away the evidence and Michael Williams is free. They were like, we have nothing else to go on and we're not going to put this under scrutiny. So.
Yeah. To be like, hey, we have this evidence. And they're like, really? Prove it. And I'm like, just kidding. Like,
sorry.
What's even the point? What's even the point of being like, we have this great thing and it's helping us, you know, in the legal in the legal place in the courts when like, and it's like, but you're not like, you're not even doing the one thing that you're like able to do, the two things that you're able to do, which is find the exact location, have a correct call, and also use it in a court of law.
That's literally your business model, and
you can't do any of it.
It's gonna make a huge noise when you put that down. I'm just letting you know.
I'm scared it's gonna fall over my water.
For the listeners at home, the table that we're recording on, it makes very loud noises when.
And I have a 20-pound weight with me, and I really need to set it down.
She's been curling this entire time.
I'm exhausted.
The ShotSpotter claims that the only reason in this Williams case that they threw out the evidence was for convoluted reasons. They were like, oh, it wasn't because of the Fry standard. Like, it's this other thing. ShotSpotter
is like, I'm all for good vibes, guys. I actually don't want to be in court anymore. This is not my energy. I don't need this negativity. Nothing but the best for you, Michael. XOXO. We need to. I'm busy.
So then when Vice News published this article and was like, it's because of the Fry standard, they came out with this just like unhinged unhinged thing at Vice News being like, this is malicious. This is an attack. We've actually been part of 10 Fry standard calls and a Dober call, but failed to cite any of the times in which they actually were. I looked it up, couldn't fucking find any.
And then if we took them to court to prove that, they'd be like, just kidding. I don't want to be here. This is an attack, honestly. Like you said, they have great marketing. They have really amazing PR and marketing.
Yeah. That's part of the package too with ShotSpotter is they give a full PR package to local law enforcement to be like, here's how you should talk about ShotSpotter. If somebody like FOIAs this specific thing, you should retract it. There's an email chain. I'll link it in the description. An email chain between a police commissioner, I believe, and somebody else about canceling ShotSpotter services that somebody FOIA'd. The entire 19 pages is retracted, so we get just like black lines, except for the one line at the bottom that's like, I think we should cancel our contract. That's it.
And then response just says, get a life. I love that. 19 pages of all redacted, and you're just like, okay.
It's like, why did you put this online?
What's the point? Look at all this shit that you can't see. God.
Again, I want to bring up that by ShotSpotter's own admission, its technology is inaccurate in part because they're still using 3G, and 3G is famously going away.
Yeah.
So they're taking 3G towers down, and ShotSpotter has to respond to that by upgrading it, which is hugely costly. And also, in many of the places that they have put up ShotSpotters, they haven't updated it in 10 plus years. And so when cities get new buildings, that really fucks up the GPS triangulation.
Yeah.
So that's fucked. But also, I want to mention that the marketing team simply made up how accurate it was. And on all their websites, when it says we're 70% accurate or we're wherever accurate, just made up by a marketing team. From the San Francisco Observer, quote, the trial of Michael Reed in connection with a shooting on August 13th specifically focused on ShotSpotter sensors in, who cares? I don't live in California. Since 2008, the gunshot detection technology has recorded all loud noises and reported the ones thought to be gunshots to the San Francisco police. Paul Green, a forensic analyst with ShotSpotter and an expert witness in the trial, testified on Thursday that the San Francisco Superior Court about the technology's accuracy. Manufactured by blah, 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 ShotSpotter guarantees an accuracy rate 80% of the time. In Reed's case, ShotSpotter failed to pinpoint the exact location of Reed's alleged crime near Turk and who cares? I don't live in California. Who cares? Additional analysis conducted after the shooting at the behest of the police determined the location was about a block away from where it was first reported. The implication of that being, it said it was on Turk and wherever. The police said, are you sure it didn't happen actually a block away? And then they just went back in and changed it.
Yeah.
So they could admit it in court as evidence.
And they're like, you know what? You rascal, you're right. How did you know our product is shit? You're might be.
Friggin' right, scallion.
It might as well be, dude. You're right.
The computer was wrong, asked Deputy Public Defender Michelle Tong. Yes, Green replied. Our accuracy guarantee was put together by our sales and marketing team, not our engineers. We need to give the customers a number. We have to tell them something. It's not perfect. The dot on the map is simply a starting point. He said that in a full court of law, being like, yeah, we just made up how accurate it was.
Beautiful.
And y'all believed us.
A starting point. And that's kind of eloquent. And
it's eloquent, elegant, and it definitely solved gun violence.
The point is a starting point, and the future, it's up to you. What a horrible way to look at this thing. Like, yeah, well, we give you the tools you need to create your own adventure. Police officers. What? Man.
So we're not dealing with a technology that's very accurate, and I don't mean to make this episode so, like I'm anticipating people listening being like, well, actually, but I am. And you may be at home saying, well, it doesn't have to be accurate because, like you said at the beginning, just the presence deters gun violence. Mm-hmm. So then we have to ask the question, does it actually? Mm-hmm. No.
No, because today's the day I'm finding out that these exist. So I find it really hard to believe that a lot of other people in Chicago know that exists.
Speaking to that argument, the CEO Ralph Clark said, an appropriate measurement of ShotSpotter should be longer term in nature. If you were going to evaluate ShotSpotter, it shouldn't necessarily be on its accuracy, which is already fucked up for a tech startup. A positive evaluation...
Very cool stance, dude.
should include reduction in crime, more arrests that flow indirectly from ShotSpotter alerts, and improved community relations as more officers are tracking alerts, showing up in high crime areas, and have more positive interactions with residents. Girl, have you ever spoken to a single police officer, especially one who's like investigating a crime?
Yeah.
Even... Again, this is someone who does not like cops. Even if you did like cops, there's not a lot of positive interactions to be had when you're looking for gun violence or evidence of gun violence. Like, I just don't even see the leap.
Yes. And like to that point, like, yeah, there is something to be said for like police officers that are in those areas that like do want to do good, but like you said, they're not coming. It's not, that stuff isn't happening in the middle of the night when they're there for a gunshot call.
Yeah.
You know, they're not like, wake the kids up, let's play.
It's time for some basketball.
The cops are here, you know, like that stuff is happening separately and with other events, you know, that are with that same goal in mind, to end gun violence, you know, and it's not happening from some guy in California. It's happening from people that live in the area.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Right?
That's so insane.
This whole thing has been insane to me thus far.
Yeah.
So again, does it reduce gun violence? Does it improve community relations? And does it lead to more indirect arrests as a result of ShotSpotter? Fucking no. This is a point I also don't want to belabor because I feel like I've been this whole episode has just been me belly aching and belaboring. No. But I've read quite a bit of studies that indicate while there may be a few instances in specific cities where there's a correlation, number one, it's not necessarily a causation. But in this banger article by researchers with the last names Green, Deneen, Shapiro, and Racine.
Bad order. Really fucked the order up on there. They should rearrange that. I love it.
They analyzed ShotSpotter data from 1999 to 2016 and specifically come to the conclusion that results suggest that implementing ShotSpotter technology has no significant impact on firearm-related homicides or arrest outcomes. So speaking to arrests or a reduction in crime, no, it doesn't. Yeah. Jerry Radcliffe wrote in, this is the title of the article, a partially randomized field experiment on the effect of acoustic gunshot detection system on police incident reports, J Experimental Criminology, 2018. That's the full title. The technology did not significantly affect the number of confirmed shootings, but it did increase the workload of police attending incidents for which no evidence of a shooting was found. So again, we spend a lot of money to like pay police officers to just do stuff. Yeah. And so when more of their stuff is useless, like that's an insane amount of money just being thrown at nothing. It's some guy driving around.
And this is what we mean by defund the police.
Yeah. Yeah.
Truly.
And even if, like, they have so many other things to be doing. This is part of the defund the police of, like, cops are doing so many different jobs in the one job. It should not be all police. It should be
literally at one point you were like, they're also in charge of maintaining the boxes. I'm like, yeah, if I was a cop, I'd be like, that is not in my job description.
Like, fucking no. You want me to climb up a 30-foot pole? No, thank
you. To reset this thing? It's not even connected to the internet anymore.
Can we plug it into like a manual outlet and do it from down here?
Do you have an extension cord for my ShotSpotter? That's crazy.
So, again, to answer CEO Ralph Clark's query of does it deter gun violence? No. Yeah. Also, it is impossible for any one single factor to deter gun violence. Proponents opponents would be like, you know, abolition, more education, more this, more that. It's a web of factors that would lead to a reduction in gun violence. It would never just be one thing. Even if it was a positive thing that like abolitionists were looking for, it would not just be education. Like it has to be everything.
Yeah.
So it's a huge claim for ShotSpotter to be like, it's because of us, actually.
We did it. We solved the problem. All the way from my little box in California.
I would also question, like, you've been around since 1996. Why hasn't it happened yet?
Truly.
Like,
yeah.
And especially in Chicago, like, you're all over the city. Why hasn't it stopped or like gone down?
That's like 30 years.
Like, quickly think about it.
I need you to actually just think about this kind of quickly. And is it, I mean, you've already gone over all that, but I'm just thinking, like, especially if it was made in 92, there's like so much
96
stuff. 96, sorry. I'm thinking of me. I was made in 92.
Like, this is about me, in fact.
Sorry, I wasn't listening. I was thinking about me. That, like, if it was 96 in California, like, all of this stuff, when were the race riots were before that, but it's just like, yeah, look at all of the things that has happened, and you were at no point, you know, helpful in all of this gun violence across the board from then until now, across the fucking country.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It is, in fact, crazy. And the craziest case to me is the case of Sylvan Simmons, which to me is a perfect marriage of like all the issues with ShotSpotter. I will preface this by saying he's still alive, but it's gonna be a little depressing. Okay. Just letting you know in advance. Okay. On April 1st, another April 1st date in here.
Are you punking me right now?
Today is actually April 1st.
What the hell?
You have no idea.
I've been asleep for a long time. If today is April 1st.
On April 1st of 2016, the Rochester Police Department received a complaint about a black man harassing a woman with a firearm while in a gray Chevy Impala. Again, this guy apparently had a gun. Sylvan Simmons made the worst mistake of his life by being black and getting a ride from his friend that night, who also drove a Chevy Impala. Because the police incorrectly started following them, even though they were not, like, this is confirmed in every single court record, they're not the people that the police were supposed to be looking for. Police start tailing them, and when the friend dropped Simmons off at home, he noticed there's a dude chasing him with a gun. Because he, like, the policeman had, like, done a flashlight thing, and it was dark, and, like, it was hard to see. So he was like, I'm going to start running.
The cop?
No. Simmons
okay.
Was like, there's a man coming at me with a gun. I'm going to run.
Yeah.
Ran into his backyard. And the officer, seeing that he was running, decided to shoot him in the back 3 times.
Oh my God.
And he also shot a 4th time and missed, I guess. Simmons woke up in the hospital on a ventilator. I don't know if I feel like now with COVID, we all know how much a ventilator like fucking blows.
Yeah.
So he wakes up and is like, huh? And the police officer claims that Simmons shot first, that he had a gun and that he shot the police officer first. Again, he lived. And he lived in Rochester, which is a town that spends about $130,000 a year on ShotSpotter. So ShotSpotter had heard the interaction happen. The officer insisted again that Simmons fired at him first. That's why he shot 4 times. I'll let the Reuters analysis of the trial take it from here. Initially, according to company records and the trial testimony reviewed by Reuters, ShotSpotter told Rochester police that it identified the sounds that night coming from a helicopter, not a gun, which already...
Oh my God.
So, after Rochester police told ShotSpotter that the department was investigating an officer-involved shooting, which is terrible. It's
Yeah.
I was going to pause to say I hate the word officer-involved shooting.
Yeah.
So do you think you could maybe change that helicopter to a gunshot for me?
That's exactly what happened. And then they were like, yeah, which, to be fair, it's because they knew that the cop did, in fact, fire the gun. So they were like, that actually was a gunshot. It was not a helicopter.
Yeah.
Please reclassify it. So then, per the customer's instruction, is what ShotSpotter says, we changed it to 3 gunshots. After another communication with the Rochester police, ShotSpotter analyzed its logs again. This time, ShotSpotter concluded that its sensors picked up 4 gunshots, all near Simmons' house. The police officer, Joseph Ferrigno, had himself shot 4 times, which fit ShotSpotter analysis. But what of the shot that Ferrigno insisted Simmons fired? Simmons fired. Rochester police requested another audio analysis from the contractor, court records show. The ShotSpotter report was revised again. This time, somehow, 5 shots appeared on the ShotSpotter, a finding that now confirmed Ferrigno's version of the events. Simmons' defense team had sought the original records of the ShotSpotter records, but the company refused to honor the defense subpoena. So they were just like, fuck your drag, no records for you. if the defense wanted the information, it would have to pay $10,000, which is a cost that was outside the budget of the Monroe County Public Defender's Office.
Oh my God.
So ShotSpotter was like, if you pay us $10,000, we'll give you the audio.
Oh
but
my
you don't
God.
have it, do you?
Do you?
So we just think that it was
How
five shots.
brilliant. That is crazy. For them to call and be like, it was 3. And they're like, for sure. And they're like, JK, it was 4. And they're like, absolutely. And they're like, JK, it was 5, a firework and a helicopter. And they're like, we got you, dude. That night was wild. Like, that is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was pretty obviously to everyone in the jury a fucking farce.
Yeah.
And so they acquitted him. So he was being charged for trying to kill a police officer. He was going to go to prison for life.
Yeah.
So the jury was like, no.
Yeah.
He did, like, the jury was like, this evidence is ridiculous. So he was acquitted.
Evidence is quite literally made up.
It's quite literally made up.
Yeah.
So he was acquitted on 3 of the 4 charges. He then, I think for complicated court reasons involving them not wanting to have to charge him again, or like someone declaring a mistrial, they did charge him for having a gun, even though like there was no DNA connecting him to the gun. And they also didn't test his clothes for like gun residue. The police department didn't test it because I think they knew damn well he didn't have a gun on him. I think the police officer just planted it.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Anyways. So he was acquitted, he was charged for whatever, but he's free now. Like, he is not in jail. But he did spend 18 months in prison before the trial, which...
While they were waiting. Oh, shit.
Which is time he will never get back. He spent 18 months in prison before his trial. He lost his girlfriend. So sad. Like, they didn't make it.
But isn't it like if you are in there and then you are like, they're like, JK, you're innocent, don't they like pay you reparations or something like that?
He is suing the... is it Rochester I said that he lived in? Yeah, he's suing Rochester. This is what he
for
told...
$10,000 and now he can get that audio.
Yeah.
Happy day. Fuck.
Of the experience, he told Reuters that he was upbeat about his future. Quote, I got shot and I was supposed to die, but I survived. Yeah. I went to jail and I was supposed to be there for the rest of my life, but I got out.
Mm-hmm. That's such a good way to look at it.
Yeah. And again, he lives in constant pain now. He can't bend down. He can't tie his shoes. He used to work like moving boxes for a company, but they did rehire him as a salesperson. Okay. So we love that for him.
What about the girlfriend?
I don't know where the girlfriend's up to.
God damn it.
A write-up from Prince Shakur, quote, Simons is now suing the city of Rochester, 2 police officers, a former police chief, and ShotSpotter.
Great.
Matters were complicated when Paul Green, who's the analyst from before who said we just make up our numbers.
Okay, yeah.
When Paul Green, the forensic service manager of ShotSpotted, admitted in court that the audio file from the time of Simmons' shooting was gone. They deleted it. Green also admitted that unlocked or unencrypted ShotSpotter audio files can be altered by ShotSpotter employees or the police.
Cool.
Cool.
What a good little caveat to add to that. This guy needs to shut the fuck up. If he wants to have a scam business, he needs to shut up.
Why are they having him go to so many trials? He fucks it up every time he goes.
Like, you can do it, Paul. I believe in you. He's like giving him a pep talk in the mirror. And then he gets there and he just totally bungles it. Oh my God, I'd love to be. Do you watch Succession?
Yes.
So you know, like the room when everything's happening and like there's all the people in the room like watching the interview go down. Like I just hope that's what's happening with Paul, and they're just like, he can do it. He can do it. God damn it. All right, get somebody on the line.
And he's like, if it is to be said.
Yes, exactly.
The amount that I talk about Succession in this podcast is ridiculous.
Oh,
so
really?
The fact that you mentioned it, I was like,
so good. Yeah, he's so dumb. I wouldn't not say that we did alter the shots.
That's a great Greg. So again, Paul Green fucking it up bad. He is definitely their. I wrote a Succession reference in here. He's definitely their Christmas tree, which is what they call Tom.
Amazing, yes, that's so good. I literally just finished last season.
He had to testify basically the same thing during the Ernesto Godinez trial in Chicago in 2017.
It's just so funny to you say that because it does kind of seem like they just keep offering him up like a lamb to slaughter because they know that they're like, we're not going to risk our beautiful faces to get dragged through the mud. Might as well put this guy up there again.
This guy's going to fuck it up. And you know what? We'll just blame him for just being whatever.
Don't mind him. He's an idiot. All the things he's saying is true, but he's dumb as rocks.
And so Where we are right now is that we're, again, currently in this ShotSpotter contract until August of 2023. Alex Goodwin, a Chicago organizer with the Action Center on Race and the Economy, one of the groups leading the campaign against ShotSpotter, told Motherboard, quote, every ShotSpotter alert is putting Black and Latinx people at risk of interactions with the police.
Yeah.
So true. That's what happened to Adam Toledo, which that is, the ShotSpotter is what led people to Adam Toledo.
Oh, wow.
It was a ShotSpotter case.
Wow.
And in the description, there will be a lot of references of things you can do if you'd like to tell Chicago to not have this. I want to end on a diversity sleigh. They have a diversity, equity, and inclusion statement on their website.
For ShotSpotter?
For
Okay.
ShotSpotter.
Bold, brave.
Our vision is to advance diversity, equity, and inclusion across the company. We recognize that everyone deserves respect and equal treatment regardless of gender, race, ethnicity, age, disability, sexual orientation and gender identity, cultural background, or religious belief. As of December 31st, 2020, women represent 27% of our employees.
Wow. Just women. No of the other stuff that they mentioned.
Diversity slay.
Yeah. It's all white women, though. Is that bad? They're all straight and married to CEO guys. Is that bad? I don't know.
All of the positions they're in like the lowest level positions. Is that something?
We don't know.
Oopsies.
Also, like, every single thing that they've ever released has been a lie. So, like, why are we going to believe that? Like, famously, you guys lie.
You just lie over and over again.
Yeah.
Which is something they do have in common with the police, is they just simply lie. ShotSpotter also, you'd be forgiven if you went on their website and had no idea what thing they do, because they're branching out into the, I'm putting my notes away, no more notes.
Done.
They're branching out into this like cloud database for police officers, which if you went to college and you had like a Campus Connect or like an online, or like a Blackboard, the online dashboard that organized your classes, that's what they're breaking into. And that's what they're trying to focus on. And that's especially apparent on their website. But they still call it ShotSpotter.
Facebook for cops. There it is.
And it's supposed to help with like case management and shift management, patrol management, apparently. Like it's supposed to be like the everything cloud service for cops. That is what they're busting into.
So they're like, okay, we will tell you where a shot has been sent in your local area. And also, if you want to set your schedules on our database, we'll have a spot for you to do that too.
Literally? Yes.
That is great.
That's exactly what they're doing. Which is a niche that does not have much, there's not much of a market for it.
Totally.
Or I mean, I guess there is a market for it, but nobody's really busted into that market.
Yeah.
So they're breaking it.
Cops need organizational skills too, guys. And like, good for them, I guess. But like, let's take the one thing out of it. Let's take this out. And like, if I don't know, admin is your true passion, ShotSpotter, like follow that thread, but take the fucking box out of it.
Yeah, admin is a very noble goal. I love administration.
And I want you to strive for it, guys. I believe in ShotSpotter's ability to do that. I don't believe in their ability to do the other thing.
So that really is all I have on ShotSpotter as a company.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to tell you on the Busted Business Bureau. How are you doing emotionally?
I feel crazy, especially because we pay for this and I did not know it existed. And now I'm just thinking, especially when you were like the Adam Toledo case was from ShotSpotter. It's just like so much bad and wrong has come from this company than good. Fully. There was like one person. Yes. You know, however long it's been around, one person.
And I would also argue that even there have been a couple cases, I will say, where somebody was shot and nobody called the police, but ShotSpotter picked it up and then the police came and like helped the person. There was also a case where it was the complete wrong location and the cops went to the complete wrong location, leaving somebody to die on Christmas Day.
Oh, God.
So for all the good that it would allegedly do, what is the trade-off for that good? The trade-off would be heightened police presence, giving them, you know, a chance to come in hot into predominantly Black and brown communities. Yeah. To then do what bad?
Fuck it up.
To fuck it up.
They fuck it all the way up. It is kind of, I mean, it's not funny, but it is kind of funny to be like, oh no, someone's been shot, and then they get sent to the wrong area, and then they find some random person, and they're like, ma'am, you've been shot, and she's like, I haven't, and they're like, come with us, we need to help you, and she's like, not me, not my experience, like, no, and there's someone like down the street that has been shot, and they're just like, we're helping this woman, look, we did it. It's so crazy. Yeah, I think we touched on it a lot of like, there definitely is a gun problem in Chicago, especially, and in America, but like, there are things that we can do to fix it. This is not one of them. And there are things that we can do that involve the police to help fix it. This, cannot stress enough, is not one of them.
And by definition, even though they say they're a proactive or preventative gun violence technology, it is by definition reactive. Yeah. Like they are not, they can't reach into somebody's pocket and take out the gun before they shoot it. Like they react to the sound of the gun.
Yes.
So there is, unless you're making the logical leap that the presence of cops will deter gun violence, which it's proven time and time again that it doesn't, there is really no logical leg to stand on for this business.
Yeah. And like you said, they come in hot. So like, even if they're coming in like ready to find a gun and there is no gun, like at no point are they just like, okay guys, time to flip the switch. Like, JK, it's like bonding time now.
Yeah, that's hard for anybody.
They're not going to do that. Like anybody to come in to be angry and then be like, oh wait, just kidding. Like there's actually no danger here. Cool. Well, do you guys want to chill? Like,
you guys, you play poker?
Let's actually hang out. God. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all of ShotSpotter.
Thanks for telling me about it.
Thank you for coming on the podcast.
It was really fun, really interesting. I learned a lot.
You did?
I did, definitely.
Okay, I love that. Do you want to tell everybody the stuff that you do?
Yeah, sure. So I have a podcast called Crushes. We just talk about celebrity crushes. It's kind of the opposite of what we just did. It's very light and but we talk about celebrity crushes. We talk about crushes that we have on everyday people like baristas or bartenders. So good. Trader Joe's employees are hot right now. And
write that down.
They're literally, figuratively, they're hot. And my Instagram is at Deanna Ortiz _. You can follow Crushes Podcast at Crushes Podcast on Instagram and listen to it wherever you get podcasts. I'm also at the Lincoln Lodge. Feels like every day of my life, but it's really only Fridays and Saturdays. And I teach the FemCom class here. So if you're listening and you want to take a stand-up class, FemCom is the best class in the world. All that stuff is at my Instagram account.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for your show to come out in March.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to tell you, I've been talking about it for so long that I'm very excited that it's happening. I have a show coming out. It's going to be a one-off at the Lincoln Lodge. It's called We'll See What Happens Next. And I kind of like spent the entire quarantine just like watching a lot of like British panel shows. Yeah. And I was kind of obsessed with them. And I was like, we could do this and it could be fun. So it's kind of like a comedy panel show where we create the comic's own adventure for them with hypothetical and would you rather questions.
Cool.
So that's coming soon to the lodge.
I can't wait for
It'll
it.
be fun. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you again for being on this podcast. If you liked it, follow at Busted Biz Bureau on Instagram and Twitter. That's really all the places you can see it. Oh, leave a review if you liked it. Leave a review saying that you liked it and read it on Spotify. Also, give the Lincoln Lodge your money, donate to them. And that is the end of this podcast. So if you love it, tell your friends. If you hate it, tell your enemies. I love you, my busted besties. I don't know what to call my fan base. I'm thinking busty babes.
You're going to have a tough time sifting out your fans from other people.
Okay. Goodbye, my busty babes. I'll see you next time.